Hi, Stacy Pingree here, founder of Radiant Financial Group and this Legacy Wealth podcast. Today we have an amazing guest with us, Rachel Tarman. I met Rachel many years ago. She is a luxury real estate agent with SERHANT. The SERHANT is expanded into out of New York and into Arizona. So excited to talk to Rachel today. Her specialty really, I'm going to have her tell her story, but her specialty really is around the luxury real estate market, but really helping high-end clients figure out how to build wealth, with strategy versus just dollars, right? And I think that's really important. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's so great to see you again.
It's crazy how small the world is and how we always intersect in some way or fashion.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, I love it though.
We actually met, so just for the reference of it, we met at a Freedom Club event, I believe it was maybe it was Tahoe. Was it the Tahoe event?
Yeah, it would have had to be Tahoe.
Yeah. And it was which is a high production group for loan originators, because you actually were a business development specialist for a really high producing loan originator in that town. Yeah. Small world.
It is such a small world.
Yeah. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to hear about your transition into real estate. So you're also a podcast host. You have a podcast yourself.
I am not doing the podcast anymore, but I have. So I've dabbled in podcasts before. It takes a lot of work. So thank you for doing what you do, because it's a production, no pun intended.
Yep.
And I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. So it's exciting to be the other side of the mic.
Well, welcome to being a guest. And
Thank you.
I know you're going to be, I already know we're going to get lost in the time here because
For sure.
we have a lot to talk about. Okay. So please give us the whole tea, as you'd say, the whole tea on what happened here with the transition.
I don't even know where to start. I never thought I'd be in the real estate world in any form or fashion, title, mortgage. I started in title, and then one of my clients recruited me over to the mortgage side, which is how we got connected. And I told him, I was like, I don't ever want to originate a loan in my life. I can barely do mental math. So now looking at people's finances, I think I'd be falling asleep. And so we really created a position of me going out marketing for him, trying to add value to the agents that we were working with or trying to work with, and dissecting their business. Like, how do we make you better at what you're doing? And so it was a crazy 6 years on the mortgage side of things.
Oh yeah, you were with a very busy team.
Yes, and it was super dynamic, and I'm so grateful for that time, because I would not be the real estate agent that I am without that experience and without the knowledge of the loans, and having, those conversations with my clients. Now I'm educated on it.
For sure.
But it was kind of an accident how I got into the real estate world. The company I was with, they wouldn't let us hold a dual license, which I totally understand. There's a lot of people that are trying to do everything and not be great at anything. Yeah. But from a business development standpoint, I wasn't touching the loans anyways. And so I was like, I'm just going to have it to have it. I think it'll help me figure out how I can guide my agents and what they're seeing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Around that same time, I had a friend of mine he was a professional athlete, and he's like, I want to buy a house. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I work with some incredible agents. I'll send you over their information. He's like, no. He's like, I will only buy with you. And I was like, I'm not licensed yet. Like, I'm going through classes. And he's like, well, then I'll wait. So literally the first deal I ever closed was an off-season home here in Arizona for them. And then apparently they just sat in the bullpen and talked about how they should buy houses, and here we are. And then how we got to SERHANT. Once we got to SERHANT, I was like, I need to pursue this full time. So
yeah. What has that meant? What has it been? That's such a the name is known.
Yeah.
But it's not known like Realty Executives.
For sure.
Or Keller Williams. So I'm interested to hear just how that's impacted you here, and what that's been like.
It's been incredible. Ryan, who, if you're unfamiliar, Ryan SERHANT, he's on Owning Manhattan, and he's been on $1 Million Listing, very much like a celebrity real estate agent. He always says that we're a media company that does real estate. And so as we go into this world of technology and AI, how do we make our lives easier, not only as agents, but also for our clients to have more eyes on their property, to get those buyers and get that highest price point. And so it's been absolutely wild. We have more tools than I know what to do with. Some of them I don't use. Sorry, Ryan. But it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
the connections that I've made on a national level and just the doors that have opened because of the name, I never would have anticipated. And it just shows like the media is doing the work for us, and it's lending credibility. So it's been so much fun.
That it looks like, I mean, I've seen some of your posts and I'm like, she's in New York, like at a launch of this and a Netflix launch of that. And I'm just like, it's just fun because it can be a lonely business in real estate or mortgage, because there's a lot of independent operators out there just kind of doing their thing and maybe building their little team, but it's lonely, it can be. So it makes you feel like you're part of a bigger deal. Yeah. And then again, like the name, but I do think that there's an evolution going on with lending and with real estate, and, the use of tools and AI and showing properties and, designing properties and all the things that you can do. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in that. Okay, so then tell us, so you got started in your business here, kind of have a focus in, then of course, once you're in, talk about small worlds, you get in with an athlete and like you said, the bullpen or the locker room or whatever that is.
Correct.
It starts to go. So it's kind of really just exploded that area of
yeah, it definitely has. I never anticipated that. I had a lot of connections with pro sports in general. I was never using them in a business sense. It was more of just like personal relationships and knowing a lot of those people. But I think there's such a unique demographic there, and there's a lot of challenges that they deal with, that the average person doesn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, it's not always necessarily high net worth. They're new in their career. They sign for a certain amount of money, and all of a sudden everyone's coming out of the woodwork and telling them you should do this or you should do that, or families asking them for money. And it's a really interesting demographic. And I don't know that everyone wants to handle that. It looks glamorous, but if you look at the hours that they call you, if it's after a game, right, and you're in a different time zone, you've got that situation going on. You have lack of awareness around the real estate industry because a lot of them are young when they sign, so they've never bought a house or rented. You've got multiple people that are gatekeepers for them. So my goal always is to make their lives easier and help advise them as if I were personally buying that property. And not that I don't do that with every client, but specifically with the pro athletes, we look through and I kind of have to handhold a little bit and say, you're really good at hitting a baseball, and I wouldn't tell you how to do this. Like, I want to be that person for you to kind of guide you and say, hey, let's look at it from this perspective. So it's been a lot of fun and lots of crazy stories, but it just, so it's good.
So we have a funny story, and I love this. I'm sure you relate to this, but we have a funny story where we did a loan for a baseball player who didn't have a great first year.
Sure.
And he was, like you said, he's on the roster, but he's at the bottom of the roster dollar wise in that initial contract. And he just signed a very, his whole life changed after a couple of years here. The last couple of years he's been playing. And so, then it really gets crazy, right? Because you've helped him get into one property and they're like, well, I'm pretty sure I should buy a $10 million house.
Correct.
You're like, is that right though? I mean, maybe that is right. But I think just taking a step back of like, let's be smart. Let's put a strategy together. You and I were talking before the show about this. Like, so what is your suggestion? I mean, you're right. The dynamic of this is like, they don't necessarily live in the place that they're playing. Right. Full time, or they live there for a temporary.
Sure.
So how do you help them with all this?
So, I mean, with me, we look at long-term, right? Yeah. I think when you sign for a decent amount of money, and it doesn't have to be millions, it could be a couple $100,000. That's life-changing money. Yep. But how do we make that go further so that if you get hurt tomorrow or you get released tomorrow for whatever reason, and that's very common in athletics, how do you make sure that you're not having to drive Uber 10 years from now because you don't have any funds and you don't know how to transfer that into corporate world? And so I always talk with the players and just say, hey, if you just signed in a market that maybe you'll never live in, buy a house there. You're going to benefit on the taxes. If you're making league minimum, you're making close to $800,000 specifically for MLB. Obviously other sports are different, but you have contacts there and the team's paying the rent. So live in that house while you're playing there. And then if you get traded, use your connections to create income for yourself you're building equity on the house, you're getting rental income, and then talk with your financial advisor about how do we take that rental income and diversify our portfolio, put it in stocks, bonds, whatever it may be. So now you have your money working for you. And if you get hurt tomorrow, you're not wondering how you're going to put food on the table for the family because you blew it on a $10 million house, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of education, and sometimes it's not the flashiest idea, and it's very enticing to look at a $10 million house. I get that. I would love to sell you a $10 million house, but it's not in your best interest.
Yeah. Long term.
Yeah.
I love that. And well, and you're building I mean, again, it goes back to trust, and you're building a relationship there that you're like, this isn't a single transaction deal for you. It's a relationship that you hope to see them through. And you're right. They don't ever think that it's going to happen to them.
Correct.
That they
We're
get
all
an injury,
invincible.
that they get an injury. Yeah. We're all invincible. It happens to all of us, right? I never thought I was going to go over 50.
Damn it.
You're
over 50?
Well, dang, I
Stop.
am. I am. Yes, I am. It's not something I'm really excited about. No, but I think it helps them career proof, a little bit. And this is, we don't think about that.
Yeah.
It's really, really critical. Obviously it's a Legacy Wealth podcast here. So I couldn't be a bigger fan. I mean, I am a fan, of that. And to me, it's just like, I wish everybody in their, if they have the means like that and they get this, even if it's a couple $100,000, but if somebody else is paying your rent, I mean, my goodness, like, let's make sure and then, if their credit's not ready yet and all the other things aren't ready yet because they haven't even been educated on that because they've been playing baseball since they were 10 and that's all they've been doing, or 5, then it's like, we want to educate them on just how to be an adult. A lot of them, I think, maybe it's even that too, right?
Well, and I think a lot of them too, if they come into money, they're paying cash for things.
Yeah.
So their credit is poor, not because they're irresponsible.
Never used it.
But because they were never taught how. And credit's a strange thing. You counsel people on that all the time.
It's not a dig at them. It's like at we don't educate anybody on how to use it. You get a credit card option every time you walk.
Good luck.
Good luck. Godspeed. No, it's a setup.
Right. And then you're like, oh, if you pay it off like you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Your credit goes down because you don't have enough credit. It's like, wait, who made the rules of this?
Yeah.
And so there's so many things like that that you just have to be aware of. And I think too, from the athlete standpoint, I had a client, he bought a new build, and I had to get on the phone and fight with the lender because the lender said that he had a seasonal job. And I was like, it was a builder lender, and that they owned. And I was like, it's not a seasonal job. He gets paid every 2 weeks. Like, he's playing seasonally, but that's where, the loan officer side of me definitely helped out because you're looking at that. You've got to file taxes in every state, which pain in the butt that you play in.
Yeah.
And then, we were talking right before we went on just about how to structure once you purchase. So a lot of baseball players, and this is good common knowledge for anyone, especially that's in the public eye, putting your home in an LLC instead of your name. Because I know that, if X baseball player is playing in Chicago today, they're not at their house. Well, now it's a safety issue, right?
Yep.
If they've got trophies or rings or cash or jewelry, whatever it may be, that's not as protected. And people can look that up. So I always tell my guys, like, make sure your home's in an LLC. Even if you are here and you're having an event at your house and someone slips and falls and decides they want to sue you, they can take down your whole portfolio versus just an LLC. And disclaimer, I'm not a legal or tax analyst, but this is just things that I've heard, from the experiences that I've had. And I just want to make sure that all of my clients are protected when it comes to assets.
So that brings me to it. You've actually played roles like in so many parts of the team, right, that you consider important. But I think, you obviously real estate agent,
right?
Obviously title and all that kind of goes. You kind of design how they're going to work with title most likely as the agent. Lending partners. I mean, this business inside and out because you were part of it for 5 or 6 years. Beyond, just working with lenders, you were in it. What else? What else do you? Because I mean, we've talked about now entity structures and probably financial planners and CPAs and
therapists.
And exactly.
Yeah, so many
Dog
therapists,
sitters.
Dog sitters.
Yeah.
I mean, I've picked people up from the airport.
Chauffeurs.
I mean, you name it. I've probably done it. I like to be a one-stop shop for my clients, which
that's great.
It can be a blessing and a curse, right? Especially my baseball guys. Like, they don't know who to insure their house with. They don't know what lenders that they should go to. And it's important to use somebody like you who knows what they're doing, versus somebody that their friend used 12 years ago and we don't even know if that person's still in the business. And so there's a variety of roles. It just depends on the day. And I think like just being a sounding board for them of what they want to do and what that looks like is so crucial.
So one of the things that was so intriguing about when I was doing, when I was looking into you now, like what you were doing now,
Sure.
I mean, I like this. I love this idea of this like kind of concierge. You have like a concierge vibe, about it with this. And I think what a niche to be proud of, right? Because you really are the go-to person, and that creates a high value, very high value. So
Thank you.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
I do love that. I mean, and I do think, I do think that like establishing trust, it's just being it's being real.
Yeah.
Because you can't be inauthentic.
I have to be like the bad sister every once in a while and be
Exactly.
like, yeah, that's not a good idea. I think sometimes I'm direct to a fault. Sometimes my face deceives me before my mouth does. But I wish someone would have taught me to be more responsible when I was in my 20s. And so if I can lend that to any of my clients, whether they're pro athletes or not, I want to do that. Like, here's how you build wealth with real estate, or just here's how you budget. I mean, you see the finances of people, you're like, it's sad. Someone making a good salary, but they're so over leveraged that they can't handle it. Back to the roles, another one that you asked me. So a lot of my clientele, they're international baseball players. So I get a lot of Dominican, Venezuelan, Puerto Rican as well, Colombian. And so teaching cultural differences is a huge thing too, right? Like if I went down to the Dominican and tried to buy a house, I wouldn't know what the process would be. Yeah. So not only am I dealing with a language barrier, as a player, right? A language barrier, being young, having everybody in my ear telling me what to do. Now someone wants me to buy a house, which sounds cool, but I'm also scared out of my mind.
Exactly.
So,
well, and your family's not here, maybe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's that whole element too. I mean, I can't imagine. So what are you in that case? You're also the
mom. I'm getting old enough now that I could be some of their moms, which is scary.
Auntie Rachel.
Yeah, 1,000%. But it's crazy. It's fun. It keeps me busy.
You mentioned a lot about like we were talking about asset protection and like structure of the right things, but and then I think privacy, teaching them about how important it is to be privacy, discretion, those kind of things, because you do hear so many horror stories about these. Again, it can be anybody in the light, but I think I think a lot of times because the contracts come in so big on the sports side, it's like boom, they went from like a college student to like, oh hey, look, he's got a $4 million contract, or whatever, or 20 million over 4 years. You're like, what do you even do with that? So I think I have that discretion so that everybody doesn't glob onto you, and
it's public knowledge. I mean, literally, I was laughing. I put a player in a rental for spring training, and the leasing agent was like, "Well, can you send over his contract?" So we did. And she's like, well, that page doesn't have his name on it. And I was like, with all due respect, Google him. Like the millions of dollars he just signed for, it's online, right? Yeah. And so you're a public figure. People are watching what you do all the time. Even, the teams are teaching them, when you take a picture with a fan, your hands are in front so that you can't be accused of having inappropriate hand placement. And like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. They've got, the teams now have people that watch your social media and look at what you're posting. Like it's crazy, all of the nuances. And I think it's super important. And if you're an agent and you're listening to this, like don't be posting pictures of your client in front of their home. It's a safety issue, right? Yes, it's great that you sold to a pro athlete, but they want the discretion. They want the privacy. They don't want people to know that they just purchased a home. And it, unfortunately, because of the social media era, everyone likes to post that stuff.
Thank you for saying it. I mean, we had a really strange situation at our office where we had one of the gals that works with us that had somebody just stalking her, and that I actually ended up hiring somebody to help figure out what was going on. And he was the private investigator the private security for Chicago baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been for years. And he said, oh no, the wives get stalked. The players get stalked. He's like, it's crazy. So anyway, to your point, I think since we're on the topic of like probably one of the largest purchases they're going to make is this home, protect them, help them protect themselves, help show them how to do it. I just think that's really can't be said enough. To me, it's a critical part for that client you're working with.
For sure.
So what else is coming up for you? Like what is exciting about this year? You're working at you guys have are you marketing a lot? You're marketing a lot right now.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're a marketing company that sells real estate.
Exactly. That's what I want to hear.
I laugh because I'm like, I feel like I'm a content creator or like influencers in the wild. Yesterday we had our videographer with us over at the Barrett Jackson auction.
Yeah.
And he's literally like filming us just walking and taking B-roll. I know all the terms now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these people are probably walking by and like being like, oh, cringy influencers, right? Like,
yeah.
But people want to know what you're doing. They'll tell you, hey, I saw that you were at this. And so I have to train myself that if I go somewhere, I have to take a picture of it first and document it. So that's been a big change for me. Just all the content, all of the being out there in the open.
Yeah. How does that align with you? Is that something that
it's exhausting?
Yeah.
I love people, but I also want to be like in my Walmart sweats and reading a book by like 8 p.m. Because I'm done peopling for the day. But
totally understand.
Like I love my people, but I need that recharge time. There's just days like your face just doesn't move because you're like, okay, great.
Yep. Especially public facing.
Oh,
if you're out there.
Yeah, like it's 9 days at the auction. And so today's a rare break for me. But it's
we were so happy she could get away from
Thank you. No, I was like, hey, sorry guys, I gotta go.
I gotta film more media.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Like even today it's my off day, right? But it's this, then I'm going to a listing presentation. Then it just never stops. But I love that. Like what a great problem to have.
Yep.
Like being exhausted from doing something that you love. And I know that sounds so cliche, but like it's just
no
wild.
day is the same. No day.
Yeah,
is the same.
no day is
So
the same.
You never get bored.
The people that I'm interacting with, and I think even with Ryan's show on Netflix, and people just asking me, they're like, "Do you watch the show?" And I'm like, "No, because I do it every day, and I know the characters that are on the show, and I can call them, and they're friends of mine." And I think there's something so alluring to the public about that. But everyone's just a person, right? And
I always feel like the scene for New York is also like this is a very casual environment out here in Arizona,
for sure.
And in New York is like it's this high stakes feel, you know what I mean? Wall Street and like the $10 million condo or $20 million penthouses but still still people doing a transaction,
They just have different bank accounts, but at the end of the day, people just are living their lives, and I think that's the thing. What you need to do to be successful in real estate lending or frankly any industry is just be able to relate to people on a human level first. They're going to look at your expertise and all of that stuff. But I think if you can connect and find that commonality and make people feel at home with you, the rest falls into place.
Oh man, I love it. That's like mic drop. I love that. You've got new tools now, you said. So like enhancing your own, I mean, obviously you're a relationship builder. You're going to get to know people, but what some of the things like you're not using yet? We won't say you're not using them to Ryan, but we'll say you haven't used them yet. What are some?
I use a majority of like they just have so many marketing suites, and we have an app called Simple, which is revolutionary. It basically is an AI platform that we can use, and I can say, oh, I just met Stacy at this event, and she's looking for this house, this price point, this area, and it'll pull it all up for you. It'll it's very automated, very high tech. We even have like an incredible tool where I can type in your address and say, hey, I'm going to list this for sale. Here's what the bed, bath count is, the cool features, the price point, and it will identify 15 buyer archetypes that you're most likely to sell to. So it could be like the downsizers, the people that just got relocated from a job, and then it builds out a whole content calendar of how to market to those people. It'll break down the scripts for the reels. It'll tell you what platform to post on. So it's nonstop.
So that's what's so insane is like there's such an overload of content that I always go like, I mean, there's too much. Like how there's too much already.
Sure.
But I think being able to slice it, dice it into like these very curated, directed bits, if you will, like that. That's so targeted.
Yeah. And repurpose, reuse.
Yeah.
So like be really good at one platform. You don't need to be great at everything. I like Instagram because we have such a visual industry.
Yep.
But if you're searching for executives, LinkedIn's probably your platform, and just be really, really good at one thing. I think we in real estate lending, we try to do everything and try to be great at all of that stuff. And it takes away from our actual craft, which is connecting with people and solving a problem for them.
I love this. I love this conversation.
You're so fun.
You're hitting it. So you're hitting it. So for me, because I said the podcast was going to be mine, and it wasn't really even so much that I wanted YouTube. It was just that we said, I want to share stories and I want to talk to real people about real things. And I didn't feel like on Instagram, I was like, at the time for me, my style was like, I didn't feel like it was real. I was like, that's not a real life, a lot of times. And so I just, it didn't work for me, but that's okay. It works for a lot of other people, and a lot of my loan originators use it, and very successfully, and it's great. But you're right. Picking something, I think, and going like, this is kind of where is authentic for me. It feels real and I feel genuine here. I don't feel like I'm putting something on.
No. And I think what you're doing is underestimated because you're telling stories, and we were talking a little bit about this earlier. Like, you don't know who's listening to this or who can pick up a tidbit that changes their business, changes their lives, whatever it may be. And so that provides credibility in itself. Yeah. And so a podcast is an incredible way to do that. And it provides so much value for everyone in the industry, because really loan officers and real estate agents can generate business in the same way. You're just a different part of the transaction.
Yeah. And it's funny, this is a little known, like we were talking about some like being data driven, before the show, and knowing like where your business actually comes from. And that's where this AI and some of the tools can get so interesting to me, like, and really be useful. But we looked at like every person that came on the show last year. They it's like chicken or egg. Was it because they came on the show, or was it because I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but almost every single guest we've had has gone on, they've either afterward gone on and bought, like their portfolio has grown or their business has grown or whatever. And it's kind of like I said, I'm proud of that in a sense of like, I don't think it was anything to do with me. I think they came on, they heard their own story. They were like, well, she asked me, I was a confidence builder. She asked me on, I must have something important to say. I mean, I just think that it's a platform where people can actually, I'm very interested in the story and I really want to share it. Whether we got 1,000 views or 3, it doesn't really matter. We're going to get views, but like it's not about that. It's about just the one person that calls me. Cause I told you I get calls. Right. And so I had one client on, and somebody called me, one of my other clients called me after and goes, I heard Maria's story. I immediately went and bought a house. I don't know what I was waiting for. And I was like, it worked. Yeah. It worked. Like
it does. It's just reaching the right audience.
You gave inspiration to somebody. Yeah.
So you 1,000% did. And I think that's something that our industries, both loans and real estate lack, is the collaboration piece. Yeah. It's too much scarcity mindset. And I can't tell you how many deals I am getting from agents in other markets because I'm building relationships or, making friends with loan officers that help me close a client because of a certain product that they have that normally they wouldn't be able to buy, whether it's a bank statement loan or whatever it is. Like, we all need to collaborate and stop doing this, it's us versus them or whatever. Like, your loan officer is part of your team. You're part of your loan officer's team. And as other agents, we all need to work together because it sucks having an agent on the other side that's absolutely horrible. Yeah. Because you're like, we're working for the same goal. We're finding a common ground between seller and buyer, and we're impeding on that when our fiduciary duty is to our client. And so we need to put our heads together and figure this out. Yeah. Be collaborative in that sense. I love it. We have that, which I definitely want to invite you to start coming to, but we do our Empower Mastermind. It's women, usually team leads, like they're running a team or whatever. I'm always blown away at how vulnerable they get in this thing. There's 15 to 20 women that come together, all from different brokerages, and it's no sale. It's a topic. It's recruiting. It's whatever. And it's a deep dive into it. And you think,
these are competing type A, strong leaders type. And man, as soon as we do a fun little exercise and get everybody broken down, like, broken down into their, just shut all that competitive stuff off. It's like the best day, the best hour and a half ever.
For sure. Because the top people, they realize that they took advice from people at some point and made themselves better. And it's their turn to give back. We're all in this together. We can all learn from each other. And the top producers, their competition is themselves. There's plenty of business. I mean, you go to a stadium and you're like, there's 55,000 people in here. And if I close 30 deals this year, I'm a top producer.
Exactly. Of
54,000. And that's one stadium. You're like, okay, there's plenty of business. Why am I fighting with XYZ agent in my office?
Because abundance mindset, man.
It's stupid.
Yeah. So what does legacy mean to you? That's, that's a big $1 million question at the end of my.
Oh boy. She didn't even warn me for this, you guys. No. This is off the cuff. I mean, I think it could be so many different things, right? You can have personal legacy, professional legacy. For me, it's leaving people better than I found them, right? If I can find a connection for them, whether it's personal or professional, that makes their lives better, I'm going to make that introduction. Like, it would be selfish of me not to. If I can teach them something like putting in their home in an LLC so they don't get robbed while they're in the outfield, great.
Exactly.
That's what I like. I want to save 1%. And sometimes they can't even measure that, right? They don't know that it was going to happen or wasn't going to happen. But I think just going in with good intention and trying to help other people succeed on your way to the top, that's important to me.
Yeah, I love that, man. Well said. I mean, it's perfect. I think think that's all you can ask is for somebody to be genuine and give you caring, being a human,
for sure,
build a connection and give you the right advice that doesn't just serve you but serves them too. So. Well, Rachel, I mean, I am so happy you were here today. I'm so glad that we got to reconnect because I felt like we just it was like we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah, for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On just making the move and making it so seamlessly. It feels seamless to me anyway. You just really, with grace, have just moved right into this position and you really are building a name for yourself here. So if you want to reach out to Rachel, of course, we're going to put all the contact information for her in the show notes below because she's got Instagram. She's got social. She's got Instagram.
I have all the social, but Instagram, you'll get the quickest response.
Yeah, and you do an amazing job of posting where you're going to be and what you're doing and all that. So it's fun. It's fun to watch that as well. I told you this lured me in, and I'm sorry I wasn't even a big Instagram.
Thanks.
Yeah,
and thank you for having me. This is such an incredible platform, and just really appreciate being selected.
Absolutely, thank you. If you got any questions for us, of course, reach out on the links below, and we'll see you the next time.